Okay, we're doing the things. I'm so happy to see the sun for today. I thought it was going to be cloudy all day, but it is sunny here I'm in South Coast, Massachusetts in Westport. And yeah, I'm just so glad everyone's here. We're going to wait for a second, let everybody hop on. If you're on Facebook, let us know that you're here. If you're listening to the replay, feel free to pop comments or questions in there. Rachel and I will be checking things later. I'm so excited to talk to Rachel today. Rachel and I met talk about referral sources, right? We met through being assigned as panel members together for the South Shore Conference for Women, which if you guys are not following South Shore Conference for Women once a year, or any of them really, now there's Metro West Conference for Women. There's, I think, 3 or 4 of them now. What a great connection and referral source if we're talking about referrals today. My digital marketing tip of the day is it's really going to lead right into the conversation that I have planned with Rachel, because I started thinking about referrals. Went to a little talk last month, and it kind of shifted some of my thinking. Most of the people that I work with are looking for clients. A lot of coaches, creatives, looking for clients. And this guy, Matt Ward, shifted the way that I thought about it. And he said, yeah, you can do all that work, and you have to show up in front of the people who need you, who need your services. And you guys know I'm all about that, right? Like hiding doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve the people that need you. But think about this, like if you're not looking at like who is serving your clients already that can be a referral source for you. And I thought that was a really nice shift, right? So I had to start thinking about that. Who is, for me, right? That would be website designers, business coaches, maybe graphic designers who their clients don't want to do their own email marketing or don't yet have a nurture sequence or even know how to put that together. And so those are people who are good referral sources to me. So I wanted to, in a digital marketing sense, then what I figured I would talk about today is yes to all the phone calls and yes to all the connecting and yes to all the emails, but make it really easy wherever you're showing up for your potential referral sources to have the information to be able to send it right over to somebody. So it could be, maybe it's your services page or your testimonials page. Maybe you have a one sheet kind of information that you can send to a potential referral source. So whatever it is that you can put together to make it really, really easy for people to refer you, whether it is a great referral source or just a friend or somebody on a, like, make it easy. Don't, make sure that you have content on your, whatever, your sales page or your website or your profiles that say, here's the problem you're having, here's how I solve the problem, here's how you can work with me, so that it is easy for your referral sources. I wanted to let you guys know I hopped on a call yesterday. I'll put the link in the chat. It was called the Big Connect. Matt Ward, Doug Casalt, I forget who else. They put together this like a speed networking thing. It was so much fun. There were, I think, 60 people on the call, and every 10 minutes you went into a different room with 3 other people. And man, you guys know I love an agenda and I love a speedy agenda. And so it was really, really cool. So here we go. I'm going to read, that is my kind of digital marketing, kind of just business tip of the week. And I do want to welcome Rachel to be here. I'm going to read your official bio.
Great.
As soon as I find it. Rachel Leone is the president of Leone Marketing Solutions, a trade show and event marketing firm specializing in promotional products. For over 2 decades, she's helped startups, small businesses, and Fortune 500 brands stand out in the crowd with promotional products, premiums, and gifts that create awareness and attract attention. And I do want to tell you that I leaned in on Rachel this this past winter to get some journals made up and to make some gifts for the people over at the care facility where my mom was, and they were so wonderful. So when I asked Rachel what her superpower was, she said her superpower is attention to details, and I can vouch for that. But I do want Rachel to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about like attention to details and then the work you do and how that leads to referrals.
Thanks, Susan. It's so great to be here today. It's funny that you mentioned Matt Ward. I just finished reading his book that he wrote, and I'm like, oh, I'm following all these tips. So it was nice to validate that. But
Awesome.
It's great to be here today. And yes, so my superpower is attention to detail. And it's interesting because, a lot of times my clients will ask me, okay, we need to, we want to do a new campaign for the new year. We want to do a new mug or a new cup or a new journal. And they'll give me their website and phone number, and I'll give them a proof, and they'll approve the proof. And then I always call in the phone number, and I always check the website. And I can't tell you 1 out of 10 times the phone number is wrong or the website's wrong, and the clients approve the proof. So that's just a little of the value add that I offer. I make sure that I just triple check that. And they're like, oh my gosh, you saved me. I would have had 5,000 mugs with the wrong website on it. So that's just a little thing that I do when I am before my proofing process and my attention to detail and my value add. So I've saved a lot of promotional product waste by doing that simple step.
I can't even imagine how aggravating that would be. What a waste.
I know, right?
Yeah. So that is a superpower. So you can tell us like kind of what you do, but I'd love to, again, like tie it into the power of referrals and how the work that you do ties into that.
Of course. Well, so it's January 14th.
Yes, it is.
And I've already received 2 referrals this year, and I'm so excited. And they both came from trusted sources. One came from a financial advisor, and one came from a graphic designer. And they both use my services, and both their clients came to them and asked, do you know anybody that does this sort of thing? And they gave me an instant referral. So that, as we know, is so powerful because they don't have to vet me. They're not going to go out and shop around. They know that so-and-so referred them, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to use me and my services. So just referrals are so powerful. And I feel like word of mouth is one of the most powerful ways. When you exceed a client's expectation, they're more likely to give you a referral. Like, for example, when I caught the website or I caught the phone number, and I'm all about my statistics, but a recent study showed that 84% of consumers say they trust a recommendation from their friends, family, or colleague about their products and services. So that's why referrals are so powerful. Think about when you have a bad experience, you tell a ton of people, but when you have a good experience, that's where you want to, promote yourself. So that's been powerful for me in these past 17 years of doing this.
Yeah. So, and you know what? So for me, I don't love to shop or make decisions on what to buy. And so that was super helpful to have you with all of that experience to know, right? I didn't have to flip through a big catalog. I didn't have to make that decision. You helped me kind of narrow it down, and then place the order, which was fantastic.
And I think that's part of also my value add. It's like you knew what you wanted, but you didn't know how to get there. And I helped you figure out, how about a water bottle? How about this one? Great value. We did your logo, we did the colors, and then hopefully everybody was happy with the end product.
I think they were. Yeah, they definitely were. So tell me more about how you nurture. I know that when we did the panel for the South Shore Conference for Women, you talked about different touch points.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So for me, social media is such a powerful way to generate referrals. LinkedIn is my preferred social media platform. And this number boggles my mind. There are 760 million users on LinkedIn.
Wow.
So I know, isn't that crazy, that number? So, you first need to make sure you have a LinkedIn page that, you're proud of. It looks good. You have an updated photo. You like, it's like basically like your walking resume. But I use that. I'm on that, a couple hours a week. And I'm out there asking for referrals, asking for recommendations, and also giving recommendations and referrals. That's also powerful too. I believe in the power of karma. I want to give to get. So even in my daily life, if I had a great lunch or if I had used a great printer, I'm always giving referrals to get. but it's important to have these 7 touch points so you can, constantly keep customers top of mind. And they know your products and services. But for me, LinkedIn is a huge part of my business and what I do to generate referrals. I definitely use Facebook. I use Instagram because I can show, look at this great water bottle. I can show, here's a great hand sanitizer. It's easy to show products and, show. So it's Instagram's an easy one for me, but I'm always, just make sure that I'm always, you need those 7 touch points to generate referrals. So that's kind of how I run my day-to-day business. And also too, when I get a referral, it's also important that I told you about those 2 that I got this year so far. I sent them a really nice handwritten thank you note, just saying, hi, Donna, I appreciate the referral. Thanks for thinking of me. Happy New Year. Wishing you all the best in 2021. And because my business is promotional products, I send them a nice gift. So how about like a nice fun little journal or a water bottle, just to say thank you. And I really appreciate the referral.
I got a fun gift from you. You gave me this thing. I'm like, what is this thing? And it was so timely. It's a little, it goes on your key ring and it like.
I happen to have one here.
Look it like pushes the door open for you, pulls the door open for you so that you don't have to like contactless life.
So this was the hottest product of 2020. And it's called a clean key. You can see it.
I can see it.
So so it's, ATM, you're checking out a grocery store, opening a door, you don't have to touch anything. And I was going to actually say, if anybody wants one of these, I have a whole bunch here. I'm happy to mail one out to you. Just pop me an email in the chat and I will send one out to you.
Awesome. Guys, there you go. You get a special gift, just like Oprah.
I know, right? Just like Oprah.
Show up on a Rise Above Noise interview and you get a key. What did you call that thing?
It's called the Clean Key.
Clean Key.
And it actually has antimicrobial items on it. So it actually it's like a film. So it keeps the germs away.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
It keeps the germs away.
So I love that you said you send a handwritten note. You said that there's 7 touch points.
So we talked about, online.
Yeah.
So we talked about LinkedIn.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Huge for me. We talked about Facebook. We talked about in these days, picking up the phone, calling somebody. Yeah. Hi. So this year for me, a big new client for me was colleges. We did a lot of these brands in a box this year because colleges couldn't see the students in person. So we did lots of brand in a box. So I started out with Stonehill College. And then I was like, well, maybe other colleges have a use for this. So then it was like, calling the directors of marketing for, Tufts, or I went to BU. So how about calling BU? So it was that sort of networking and saying, hey, I have this great idea. So picking up the phone. And then again, following up with going on the social media page, liking their page, commenting the page, sharing their page, and then showing these brands in a box on social media so people can see what you were doing. So that was another touch point. But, you just have to kind of keep your product top of mind so they know the services that you can offer them.
Right. And I think that's the thing too, like a lot of people, business owners, so many people that I know, a lot of coaches, right? So they get their coaching certification and then the first thing they want to do is make a business card, which right now guys don't bother with that, right? Who's handing out business cards? But to your point, there are other ways that you can stay in front of people. I think, oh my gosh, like I have my water bottle, right? I got all my stickers on my water bottle. So I'm always thinking, especially Constant Contact, right? You guys know I love Constant Contact. Like when it's in front of you all the time, that's super helpful. I have I have some great notepads. It's just keeping your brand. But here's what I really love about what you were saying is that you have a chat with somebody, you make the first touch point, whether it's by phone or a message through LinkedIn, and then you go and you take it that next step further. And I think this might be your magic, is that you're following them on their socials, you're commenting wherever appropriate on LinkedIn or a lot of people are using Alignable these days too. I'm not sure how effective that is, but
Yeah,
that they
I
get
use
used to
Alignable,
seeing your
yeah.
name. Do you use Alignable?
I do use Alignable. I do use Alignable. And it's funny you say about the business cards though, because when I do write my thank you notes, I still put a business card in there. I
That's
still
true.
do. So I still think that works. But I still think that works. But
I think you're right. I think that's true. That is super good.
and then we didn't also discuss the email introduction. I know that's a big part of what you do, but I also do an email introduction as well. I think that's really important. I keep it light, I keep it simple, and I ask for what I want in the email. A lot of times people don't ask, and that's huge.
So
You
give
know,
me an example of what you're saying.
So for example, I was talking about the colleges. So I was talking about how I did the brand in a box for Stonehill.
Yeah.
So I took some fabulous photos and then I sent that email to directors of marketing for, Tufts and Bentley and BU. And I was like, hey, I did this great brand in a box for Stonehill. Any interest in your colleges? So then it was, it took me 8 times to get Tufts to respond to me, but it works. So I touched them on email, then I touched them on LinkedIn. Then I went back to LinkedIn, a few different contacts. Then I actually sent them a sample of the actual box in a package. And then I got on the phone. And then after about 7 or 8 touch points, they're like, hey, let's have a conversation. So, you can't just expect to send one email and then you'll get the business. You have to just, keep at it. So.
Well, that is such a nugget of wisdom, because I know how that is, right? Like somebody sends an email and they're like, oh yeah, well, I never heard back. But if you think about what's in your inbox right this second, I mean, I have days where I'm just so over the 1,200 emails, 12,000 emails in my promotions that I sometimes just go and I delete. Do you want to delete all 12,000 in this? Yes, I do. Right. So right. Like I do scan each day and I see which ones, and I'll star the ones that I don't want to delete and put them in a different folder. But right, we're getting a lot of stuff. And I'm saying that as somebody who does email marketing as a living. So all that more important to do what you're talking about, Rachel, which is create those real connections and to get your name out there, a good subject line, or, oh, this is Rachel. I saw she put something really cool up on LinkedIn the other day, or, oh, she commented on a blog that I had the other day. Now she's emailing me.
And also I got Stonehill to write me a little referral blog on LinkedIn. And that kind of helped too, because then it was like, oh, she's a trusted source. Oh, she's reputable. Oh, she knows what she's doing. So that went a long way as well.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's amazing. So when you're thinking about, like, it's interesting because people who have things that they sell as you do, and your service is helping people figure out the right things. That seems very clear cut to me. Many of the people that I work with, as I mentioned, are coaches, are, I'd say coaches, healers, that kind of thing. And so they're in a little bit of a different space where they're not selling a product. I wonder, let's just kind of have this conversation because I'm spinning ideas in my head. How would you suggest, and we can have a conversation about this, that they use these 7 touch points, right? The 4 tips that you've talked about. Let's just review it. The 4 tips you talked about to generate referrals is word of mouth, which is so important, you guys. The use of social media, the power of karma, and then follow up, which you've covered all of those well. Let's talk about how a coach or creative might use those, right? So,
well, I mean, I would recommend putting little testimonial snippets in those 4 touch points. So getting their clients to, how was coaching help them, or how was healing help them, and then using those in those 4 touch points. Does that make sense?
that makes all the sense. So testimonials, yes.
Definitely testimonials. And then just, a lot of my clients use the Google reviews, and that brings you up on the SEO searches. Also the LinkedIn recommendations. You can just, I'm sure you know this better than I do, but you can ask them for a recommendation through the LinkedIn tool. But I think, you know, they have, you know, coaching. I used a coach. It was life-changing. So I just feel like writing those reviews and sharing those to your base, even doing an email marketing campaign. This is what my, you know, top 10 clients said about me in 2020. Can I help you? And
Love
even,
that.
you know, so that's another great. And I mean, healers too. I've used healers that they're amazing as well. So I just have, you know, I can't say enough about the people that I've worked with, and I've given them referrals, and just, you have some really powerful talking points there.
I love that. That is such a great takeaway. I want to address a question Rebecca put in the chat. Hey, Rebecca. She says she loves the 7 touch point idea, and she'd love to hear like what the industry standard would be for referral commissions. Oh, that's interesting. Like referral kinds of things.
Yes, yes. In my world, I don't offer referral commissions. I always might, you know, offer somebody like percentage off or something like that. But I know like in the event world, I know like I've been offered, if one of your clients books an event, I'll give you X percentage of the event, that sort of thing. So I can't really talk too much about commissions, but I know what I've seen in my world. But on the promotional product side, I don't think there's much commissions on that. But I that's just me personally.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too. You guys who, if you're listening later, I'd be curious to know what that is too. And I know where Rebecca's going with that, right? If I say to somebody, oh, you should totally hire, you know, Rebecca for this, and somebody comes to Rebecca and says, hey, Susan told me I should work with you, and then they sign up, like, what's the kickback on that? And especially in the world that I live in, where if I'm going to focus on email marketing and I'm going to ask graphic designers, website designers, copywriters to bring me business, how can I thank them for that in an abundant kind of way? How
Right.
can I share the abundance with them? That's a really good question. I'd love to open up that conversation within the Rise Above Noise group.
That's a cool one. And like I said, in my world, I would just do a gift, or I'd offer them like a percentage off. If they were going to place an order, I'd give them a percentage off.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing to think about.
I think so too. This has been so helpful. Before we wrap up today, I guess we'll make sure that we put your website in there. Is there anything else that you would want to share with folks, know more about you, any kind of a tip that we didn't cover today?
So I would just say, you know, always make sure you follow up with your clients and prospects, always, whether it's a phone call, an email, a message, social media, but always the final step is just to ask. Don't forget to ask. So that's my closing tip. And if anybody would like a clean key, I'm happy to mail you one out. No charge, just give me your address. They're so fun. And if anyone needs any promotional product ideas for 2021, you can find me at Rachel. So it's RACHEL. And then it's at Leone, LEONE marketing.com.
I'll put those links in
this was so fun. You're so easy to talk to.
This is fun. I wish I could do this every day. And every time I'm talking to someone, I'm like, oh, I should really do this like every morning. This would be so great. But
I think your next topic should be about the commissions. That's a cool topic.
I know. Hey, if there's anyone listening who can give some insights on that, hit me up. Rebecca and I want to know, what are we doing here with commissions, right? Because here's the thing. Rise Above Noise, heart-centered entrepreneurs, everybody's service-based, and we all want to refer each other all of the time, but really, right, like there's the ask and there's that commitment to revenue and to share the abundance, and it can be a little awkward. So if we can say, oh yeah, usually it's, I don't even know, is it a percentage? Is it a blocked amount each time? So hey, if you guys are listening and you have some insights on this, curious minds want to know what we should do about this. Rachel, thank you so much for joining me. I am so glad that Kathy Brigette put us together on that panel so that we could continue to work together.
Thank you so much. Great to see you today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.